Hey, what's up guys? We're back with another Star Wars reaction video. If you're new channel, welcome. So today my plan is to finish off the rest of Vader's complete audio comic series, because I know in the last video I said I'm gonna try to finish it off, but something came up so I had to cut it short, so I do apologize about that. But we're gonna be checking out the comics 15 all the way to 25. 25 is the very last one, which is about so it's gonna take at least maybe 52 minutes until we get to the end. But I'm really excited to see what happens next. I know we're on Mon Cala and we're against the king, and we're gonna see what happens from there. So without anything else, let's jump into the audio comics. And by the way, shout out to Star Wars Theories for providing the video and also doing an amazing job on the narration.
Igniting his red lightsaber, illuminating the dark ocean floor as he looks around with his aided ocular lenses.
Alert! Oxygen levels at 30%. Alert! Suit rupture imminent.
To find himself before a massive squid-like creature native to the planet. As they go toe-to-toe, Vader is eventually squeezed by the alien creature, and his lightsaber falls to the floor of the ocean below. Raising his hand, coming eye to eye with the squid, he summons the dark side and sends a powerful blast of force to the creature's eye, killing it and summoning his lightsaber to his grasp. As he floats through the ocean wreckage with his new kill, almost surfing on it underwater, he enters the Inquisitor's shuttle as he demands to know if the Jedi is dead or not. As the Inquisitors say that the Jedi is still alive, but they know his location. They basically continue to tell Vader that the bright side of the story is that they rescued him.
You are fools. I never need rescue.
As the Inquisitors tell him that they know the location of the Jedi after torturing out of the King, as we saw in the last issue, Vader condescendingly tells them that the first thing the King will do is tell the Jedi that the Empire is coming for him.
We need to move now, and all of you.
As King Lichar floats through the ocean, he is rescued by his men. Tarkin is then informed of an imminent attack on an Imperial ship down below, led by Commander Akbar himself. Just once again, noting how battlefield savvy Akbar was, and how awesome. As Commander Akbar leads his men to the battle, he awaits until the perfect moment to fire all missiles.
Fire!
Victorious, Akbar leads
nice.
victory. The king is brought back to health underwater, where he is suddenly reminded that the Jedi's location has been revealed and he must tell him immediately. Sending transmission to the Jedi Master Bar and his team, King Lichar tells him that no, the Sith definitely knows of their location as they tortured it out of him, and that they are probably headed there right now. The comic ends with dialogue of Tarkin telling his men that the situation is about to be escalated heavily, as we get a nice scenic shot of 3 Star Destroyers hovering over Mon Cala, ready for war. As Master Bar orders everyone to evacuate,
If a
they
Mon
scramble in fear as to why,
Calamari cruiser came out, maybe it has a chance against the Star Destroyer.
It's Palpatine's band of Jedi hunters, Verla. The Inquisitors, with Darth Vader at their head.
As he sets his droid for self-destruction, he extracts his data tape when, "But the Empire is attacking this world. You've been advising their king. Won't we do anything to help?"
We've done what we came here to do, Orvek. And if we're gonna do it again, on as many other planets as we can, we need to leave right now, if it is not already too late.
As they all jump into the hole before them, entering the ocean of Mon Cala, when Vader and the Inquisitors are literally in the ship before them, scurrying to get out of the way, Vader clenches his fist and cracks one of the helmets of Master Bar's group. We get a flashback to one of the members' sisters as they are taken to become a Jedi. Then, later during the events of Order 66, she finds out that her sister is being hunted, among all others, by Palpatine, where Master Bar steps in and recruits her. We get another flashback of another crew member passing time as they finally get onto land, where once again another flashback takes place as we find out briefly how the next crew member was recruited by Bar. Now, up above the planet, Tarkin basically admits that the Imperials are being slaughtered down below as their ships and men are at a disadvantage to the planet's water-preferred tactics. Signaling a transmission to Lord Vader, Tarkin says, "Lord Vader,
Governor Tarkin, I am occupied.
I am aware. I request that you allow the rest of your team to locate and dispatch the Jedi. I have another task for you. Secure King Lichar."
I am not subject to your authority.
No, hence the request as opposed to an order. But the Mon Calamari and Quarren forces are digging in for a protracted conflict, and our Emperor made it clear that he wanted a swift victory here. If I have the king, I can end this. I suspect you can acquire him faster than anyone else. Will you assist me? I would consider it a personal favor. I would be in your debt.
Inquisitors, I have another task. Continue on. Destroy the Jedi.
Don't worry, Vader.
Wow,
we'll
that's a
get
lot
him.
of purge troopers.
See that you do.
As Master Bar and his two crew members come to a dead end, one is sliced in half vertically by the Inquisitor's lightsaber using a force throw.
Oh,
when we get one
shit.
more flashback, but this time, it's of Anakin Skywalker saving a civilian, and it was this very deed that made Bar's crew members so loyal to the Jedi once Order 66 took place. Ironic how Anakin set that pride and care only to be the one that was the cause of the end of the Jedi as a whole. As Master Bar throws away his lightsaber, he names the Inquisitors one by one, telling them that he knows they are all Jedi back at the temple before the purge. As the ninth sister steps up and tells him that it doesn't matter, that he's going to die anyways, and they know that he's just a Padawan too, Bar says,
Oh, the past does not die.
telling them that he has been studying the past while he's been hiding away from the Empire. As he flips off their helmets with the Force, he concurs that they are all young clones, just as he suspected, probably brought here after the purge as expendable troops for this mission, or once like it. As he looks to the Inquisitors after they tell him that he's going to die regardless, he tells them,
Once a Jedi, always a Jedi. Execute Order 66.
Wait,
when Bar executes Order 66 in the last episode to the batch of very young and fresh clones, the Inquisitors are fired upon by every clone before them as the 10th brother is brutally killed, just like Ki-Adi was. Rest in peace. Bar tells them that the
rest in
clones
peace.
must obey their programming, no better than droids in a sense. As he leaps over them all and runs to the exit with Verla, the remaining Inquisitors are busy deflecting the onslaught. Master Bar, who's really just a Jedi Knight, tells Verla that she must leave the planet with as many allies
That
as she
was a
can find.
genius move.
He tells her that there are other Jedi remaining, as he hasn't found any death records of Obi-Wan, Yoda, or Quinlan Vos yet. He tells her to find one and have them teach her, which is super cool since this means we'll finally see a familiar Jedi train her, hopefully.
Hello there.
Asking him to come with her, he says,
No, I have another fight ahead of me. One I intend to win.
As the Inquisitors send a massive force push to the clones, they open a pathway to the exit when the sixth brother swings his lightsaber back and slices off the ninth sister's leg as a means of making a definite getaway, as the clones would focus on killing her. Meanwhile, Vader is outside King Lichar's hideout when his guards all begin to fire upon Vader, giving us a flashback
So that's how she
rather
lost
than
her
flash
leg.
forward to Rogue One against the rebels. He redirects all their blaster fire to them and cuts them down, making his way up the steps and deflects the king's immediate blast back to his hand and knocks the blaster from his grasp.
Tarkin, I have the king.
Very good, Lord Vader. Transmit your precise location. Take King Lichar to a window. You have the coordinates, Lieutenant? Yes, Governor Tarkin. Very good. You may fire at will. As the Star Destroyer fires upon the planet, millions and billions are destroyed in the city as the king watches his planet boil and burn to the ground. You are beasts, parasites, evil, but destroy as many cities as you like. It changes nothing.
A twitch of my finger could end you forever. You are central to nothing. You do not matter. You have been lied to. No, Vader. I told him the truth. We shall see. Why did you come here?
Here we
Your
go.
death will achieve nothing. My death is not certain, Sith. I killed your Inquisitors. Perhaps I will kill you. No. I sense something. You know you cannot defeat me. Yet you came anyway. There must be a reason. I sense pride.
As Jedi Bar tells Vader that he will be the reason Palpatine's cursed empire crumbles to ash, Vader catches on quickly.
You assassinated the Imperial Ambassador. Of course I did. I couldn't take the risk that
Oh.
negotiations would bear fruit. That this
It was
inevitable
him,
conflict would
not the
be delayed.
Imperials.
As Bar tells him that he needed to stir the pot, essentially between the Empire and the Mon Cala, he was the one who blew up the Imperial shuttle in order to speed the process of the rebellion, to light the fire to it. As the king hears that the Jedi caused this whole feud, he orders the planet to fall back, telling Tarkin in a transmission that he surrenders, where Tarkin accepts but continues to destroy the planet anyways. As the Mon Cala get in transport ships to flee the planet and live in space, Vader continues to fight the Jedi Knight, who tells the king that this fire started today against the Empire will inspire trillions of lives in the future, as was his plan.
You are no Jedi. Perhaps not. Not anymore. Makes two of us, eh? But I made my choices, and I might not be a Jedi, but I still beat the Sith.
As the Empire
Oh,
fires
they're the
upon the
Mon
fleeing
Calamari
vessels of
cruisers,
Mon
yeah.
Cala, who have their full shields up, we see the last clone alive from his mission.
This is over.
This is not over. You will see Mon Cala will rise again. Somehow, someday.
There is no Mon Cala. Mon Cala is gone. There is only the Empire.
As Vader gets into his shuttle and flies off into the depths of space with the king held hostage, we can only
Damn,
wonder
the
what the
Jedi
next issue
blew
will
up
bring
the
us as he puts him
ambassador.
before the Emperor, which will surely be an issue to watch. As the story takes place on the Outer Rim, sometime after the events of the last comic, Tarkin speaks to one of his 19 hunters who spotted movement. As Tarkin checks, he sees Vader standing on the high ground wearing the skin of a Valath, which was the apex predator
I have the
of
high
planet.
ground.
Apparently very hard to kill, a monstrous creature that could camouflage into its surroundings, and he did it without a lightsaber. As Tarkin tells the story, he explains how he needed a plan. I have been privileged to watch Vader at his bloody work. On more than one occasion, blasters are almost useless. He can deflect the bolts, whether with his lightsaber or his command of the Force. Therefore, I outfitted my team with flame weapons and slug throwers. Tarkin literally sets Vader on fire here, which is Anakin's biggest fear, sand jokes aside. It even makes Tarkin, through Vader's body language, detect his fear, which is a first. Check out my latest video that I made talking more about this, and I go more in depth about it, so let's just move on.
Tarkin sets
Tarkin's
Vader on
motive was
fire?
to debilitate Vader's lightsaber from him, since he can't block fire with it, but for Vader, it didn't matter, did it? Since the fire may have been okay, but the flamethrowers were not. He learned that through Vader's heavy suit, he left footprints everywhere, not to mention his breathing could be heard from far away. He was learning his prey, and fast. Tarkin is an amazing hunter. He was narrowing down Vader's weaknesses, but in order to do so, he sent him expendables to kill, and in return, Tarkin continuously learned. He had a droid take Vader's lightsaber away, a mission that took 4 days and 6 men lost, but his team was finally successful. He believed it would be over, that an enemy became easier to kill the more enraged it had become. And from his observation, Vader treated his lightsaber with care and emotion. He even recalled seeing Vader touch it during meetings with Palpatine subconsciously. It was the only thing that Vader showed emotion and care for. Soon, Tarkin and his men found out that Vader didn't need his weapon. He enjoyed killing up close and personal, and the more angry and enraged he became, the more powerful he was. He can use the Force to crush his victims' windpipes, break their bones, pull their eyes from their heads. I sent more men to die, choking on their own blood, so I could learn how close he needed to be to kill with the Force. Once I acquired his last piece of information, I believed the hunt would shortly draw to a close. I was mistaken. Now here's where Tarkin rounds up a couple of Chadra fan trackers to listen for Vader. However, they were led into a trap, an echo-sensitive area with cliffs where the sound of his raspy breathing was heard from all around them.
Oh, it echoes all around.
As he
the
picked
wellhound.
off the hunters one by one until Tarkin moved his men to safety, Vader is literally depicted like this vicious animal that takes them into the night. Now this is a theme that the directors from Rogue One were clearly trying to state. Vader was unleashed in the corridor against the rebels, and here he is again in the comics, depicted as some sort of vicious animal, almost like a predator. No, literally like a predator. Tarkin, as he sets up camp, asks the last fan tracker, Sissian, if he hears him. Denying any trace of the dark demon, Vader, Tarkin turns to move, when Sissian begins to choke on air behind him. Up! He's here, you fools! I realize what he must have done. Vader deactivated his armor's breathing apparatus. I did not know he could. I have never heard him without it. I assumed he needed it to survive. And if that is so, if that is the strategy he adopted to get
Damn,
past
did he just
Sissian's ears,
held
then he
his
is dying
breath?
right now, dying even as he kills us. Until he gets his lightsaber back, then only terror. The saber flies to his hand, and only then does he begin to breathe. He returns to life. Now, something really beautiful and poetic about this is that they basically make it seem like when Vader gets his lightsaber back, which is the only object that he shows emotion and care for, he actually begins to come to life. Then he starts to breathe, showing that without his lightsaber, without his ability or his weapon that kills, he is dead. Which is basically the whole premise of this issue right here. It's really deep and beautiful if you think about it. The last of my
Well,
men
Obi-Wan
are
did
about
say
to
this
die,
weapon
and
is your
so,
life.
Again,
In
it is
episode
time
2.
to run. Now here's a shot of Vader basically just taking limbs and heads and arms right off in his fiery blaze of his red lightsaber. As Vader kills off the last of Tarkin's men, he slowly walks to him, hunting him down to his death. When Tarkin realizes that there's no use in running, he's just going to tire and eventually Vader will catch up and kill him. So he stops, at a very specific location, surrendered, and dropped to his knees. Vader savors my imminent murder. He can already feel it. He wants it. And so, he does not consider the land, the skies, this place to which I have led him, or this moment planned before this hunt began. For these are the Stormlands. This is Bard Ground.
What?
And here, the taller you stand. Boom! Vader gets struck with massive lightning. His suit is extremely sensitive to it as designed by Emperor Palpatine himself, and Tarkin led him here for that exact reason. He had planned it all along. Finally, when Vader gets the high ground, he loses to the bad ground. That's so sad. I mean, the guy just can't win against any ground. There's probably a new meme being born right now as you watch this video. The bad ground. Oh boy. As Tarkin calls in for them to be picked up by a shuttle, we kind of start to learn what is happening in this issue, because before this, it was actually kind of confusing as to what was going on. I mean, you knew Vader was being hunted, but when in time did this really take place? And now we kind of understand. As Tarkin tells him that he owed Vader a debt for a task that he undertook some time ago, and this is the one from the last issue. And when the request came, it was indeed nothing I could have imagined. He had somehow learned of my past, the savagery of my youth on Niriadu, and the skill it gave me at the hunt. He asked me to hunt him. Whatever you hope to learn or understand from this madness, Vader, I hope you did, and I hope it was worth the cost. I have my theories as to why he wanted this. Vader is Palpatine's hunter, but I've read reports from the Inquisitorius. Vader and his monsters have done their job well. Few Jedi remain, if any, which leaves him a killer with no one to kill, or more particularly, no one worth killing. As Tarkin begins to move to the ship, he talks to us about having reviewed all of Vader's tactics and powers, considered thousands of strategies to beat him. In the end, it was simple. Vader believes that he can never lose. I used that belief to show him he can. And then, his fingers twitched, and I realized that in Vader's mind,
here comes the Force.
He has not lost. He grabs his throat as Vader uses the dark side of the Force to constrict his windpipe, bringing him to his knees, gasping for air, nearing death, when Vader finally releases him, only to show Tarkin that he still has power to kill him. Even in this moment, he respects him and obviously doesn't want to kill the Emperor's best Moff, but just lets him know that, hey, I'm not dead, and you didn't win. Vader releases me, and I consider the power, the will of this man. His strength is immense, incalculable, and every ounce of it, every drop is in service to the Empire and the grand ambitions of its ruler, his master and my own, Palpatine. I drog in a ragged breath, and all I can think is how lucky we are.
Damn.
Congratulations. It's a girl.
Can I hold her, Mira? Of course, darling. She's yours.
Okay, into a new comic.
Eve Koth.
As Vader enters the labor room, the man freezes in terror, mumbling, "No, not now." As his wife clearly has no clue who her husband really is.
Eve Koth was killed by Palpatine.
Vader moves in to continue with Order 66, as the man tells him that he's not the same person anymore. He's changed. He's just a priest in the church and means no harm to anyone. I'm just a priest now, in the Church of the Ganthic Enlightenment. I bring people peace, officiate weddings and funerals, that's all. They kicked me off the council, you know. Listen, if you just go, leave us be, I can offer you something. I have codes, secret contact frequencies. Give me my baby. As Mira demands the droid for her baby, she overhears the continuing conversation. I can tell you how to find other survivors of the Purge. Just let us live.
Funerals.
As Eve Koth sends a shockwave of force power towards Vader, he summons his hidden lightsaber from within the wall and ignites it. Now, keep in mind, this is a green one, so that means he was clearly powerful with the Force. As he lunges at Lord Vader, the two ensue in a massive duel.
Fear, anger, resentment. I sense them in you. You have let yourself feel, Eve Koth. It gives you power, more than the Jedi would ever have allowed you.
Perhaps it's the Zabrak in me. As they keep fighting, Vader pushes him away and he tells the Inquisitors.
Could have been a night brother.
Inquisitors, a woman and an infant escaped. Bring me the child.
And the woman, Lord Vader? Now, here's a scene that's super cool and I want to talk a bit about it. The Inquisitor reaches out with the Force, knowing the baby is Force sensitive, sending ripples in the Force itself until the signal is found and reached back until they locate the woman and the baby.
So that's
this
how
is a
they're
pretty cool
finding
way of explaining
the baby.
how they find Force sensitives near them. As the woman pleads to the Inquisitor, saying woman to woman, "Let me and my child go," the sister accepts her plea and lets her go free. However, once in the air, she reaches out with the Force and summons the baby from her mother's grasp. The ship takes off into the sky. Mira cries in her hands aboard the ship. She asks her father what they want her baby for, when we see the child delivered to Lord Vader, who has clearly beaten the former Jedi badly, distracting him with the sight of his captured child. Vader uses the moment and strikes his lightsaber through him, killing him instantly. Taking the baby Zabrak, he uses the Force to shut it up and takes it back to the Grand Inquisitor. Delivering the Force-sensitive Zabrak child, Vader asks what the next target is, when he is led to the information room, showing a hologram of all names of surviving Jedi. Speaking of the vast quietness of the Jedi throughout the galaxy, wondering how none of these Jedi have even been found, despite their names being on the list of those undead. Vader leaves to meditate as they wait for the Jedi to make themselves aware to the Empire, one way or another. Now this page here is pretty cool as it shows Vader through his time in solitude. He looks out the window onto the city, contemplating different things, meditates, and if you notice, there aren't any more butterflies if you've seen my previous video about it, tinkers with his switches on his suit, spars with a droid, and advances his skills in the Force. The last few pages of this issue cover the Inquisitors and company huddling around drinking dust juice. They speak of Vader and what he'll do when no Jedi are left to kill, once Order 66 is truly complete. As one says, "A man like that will always find someone to kill." This one picks
for
right
someone
up where
who
we
breathes
left off in the last
loud,
issue.
he can
Vader
show up
goes
out
to
of
the room
nowhere.
with the Inquisitors, mainly the woman who kidnapped the Jedi, Eth Koth's child, walks right up to them and ignites his lightsaber and immediately strikes her as she is saved by her lover. Vader discards him as he throws him into the wall with the Force. As the Inquisitor asks Vader what she has done, where Vader says that he doesn't need to worry about it because he has now done it too. As the two escape, the Grand Inquisitor asks if he may be of service. Vader tells them there's no need and proceeds to leave the building riding on the back of a shuttle piloted by two clones.
What are we looking for, Lord Vader? 2 Jedi, male and female. They will attack us. It is only a matter of
notice how
time.
it says 2 Jedi
Be
instead
wary.
of 2 Inquisitors.
They are cunning. Their direction of attack may be unorthodox.
As their two lightsabers come whirring at Vader like cyclones of death, they slice everything in their path. Vader hops from speeder to speeder, crashing pods on people and senators down below. As they try to throw one at him, he merely pushes it back to them, no problem, jumping finally to them. But when he does, a massive statue lands on his body, throwing him to the balcony. I don't believe it. We actually beat him. Not yet. He's still alive. As Vader freezes their bodies in midair, they turn to one another to say their sweet goodbyes. As he swiftly turns their bodies into one another, piercing their lightsabers into each other, and thus dying. Vader reports to the Emperor.
You claim these
They made them kill each other.
killed were traitors. Fair enough. But tell me, Lord Vader, where is your evidence? Fifth brother informed me that he observed the woman allowing Eth Koth's wife and daughter to escape. She only recaptured the child upon realizing she had been seen. I had my suspicions about her, my master.
As the Emperor is very displeased that Vader made such a mess of his world, mainly killing a senator that he needed control of, remember this one, he told Vader it looks very
he was
bad
having
on
a
him if
picnic
the
and
world
then
thinks that he
boom, a
can't
speeder
control
fell on
his
him.
men. As a result, he plans to move the Inquisitorios to another base on another world so that this will never happen again. Palpatine tells Vader to rise as he asks just how Eth Koth tried to hide, where Vader tells him that he became a priest. Chuckling, Sidious says,
He could have been anything, and he picked the closest thing to a Jedi he could find. These fools can't help themselves. They deserve their extinction.
Palpatine tells Vader that for his good work, he has a reward for him, taking him to the next room.
For you, my apprentice, do you remember it?
Vader stops dead in his tracks.
Yes,
The royal vessel of the lovely Padme
Oh.
Amidala. Such an elegant thing from an elegant world.
Full restoration of the exterior
It took
should
me a
be
second to
complete in
realize
approximately 2 days, Emperor Palpatine. All interior systems are in working order and...
Yes, perhaps it suits you better as it is. As Palpatine tells him that his work hunting the Jedi is done for the time being, he orders him to Alderaan to pay Senator Organa a visit and teach his world a lesson, when Vader says,
No.
Now, this is the first time since becoming Vader when he denies the Emperor officially like this in the comics. No? Palpatine
Wow.
responds. Vader asks for something.
A world.
As Sidious understands, he says, of course, a world, a place to own your skills and unleash your rage when you want to, basically. This is where he starts throwing different worlds at him to choose from. How kind of him. Naboo, perhaps? I know you have connections to that planet. This is the esteem in which I hold you, my apprentice. I would give you my home world, or
Wow.
your own Tatooine. You could burn its sand to glass. Repay your suffering there 1,000 times over.
No.
I know which one he chooses because of his castle.
Mustafa.
Yep. Because I do know this. His
Picking up
castle
from where
is
we
there,
left off, Vader
and,
enters Padme's ship.
There's
that
a dark
Palpatine
connection
gave
to the
him. He sees his younger
like
self
dark side
standing
there.
in the center, with his back to him. He looks just as he was when Qui-Gon took him from the sand planet of Tatooine and introduced him to Obi-Wan. However, when the boy turns, his face looks like Vader's mask. Now, upon first glimpse, you may think it's just his mask with skin. However, if you look at it metaphorically, the mask is formed by his bones, meaning his very bones are now the mask. This is extremely poetic. Vader knows that the boy who was once such a positive force in the galaxy, pun intended, and dreamed of becoming a Jedi and saving his mother, was now the very thing that he would only see in nightmares. The face had changed into this demonic and rather borderline disturbing image of himself without eyes. This symbolizes the loss of his soul, or identity, as the eyes are the window to the soul, as they say. His skin has now formed around the new structure that has trapped him into the very monster that he has now become, as if his bones are made of the mask itself. However, amongst the horror that has now replaced the young innocent face of child Anakin, we still see his hair. Why is this? This, I believe, could symbolize his purity, the golden hair of the Chosen One. As they near their destination, Vader is asked by the Colonel, why Mustafar? The scene cuts to Sidious and Vader as a flashback to their convo before departure to the Fire Planet. Sidious tells him that he will send an Imperial architect with him to design his fortress as he sees fit. She was the one who fixed up his palace and got rid of anything remnant of the Jedi. The world where you were defeated, where you burned. I have my suspicions as to why you chose it, but I would have them confirmed. Why, Mustafar? Cutting to the ship again in present time, the architect and Colonel discuss Vader's personality, trying to come up with just what he's going to want to design for his castle, mentioning how this ship that belonged to the Queen of Naboo was so opposite of what they'd assume Vader would fly in. Observing the mask of Lord Momin, who we'll learn about later from Sidious himself, the architect is fascinated by it, wondering who would wear such a thing. What in blazes? As they realize that they are descending into Mustafar's atmosphere without any shields up, Bren, the architect, screams at Vader to put the shields up or to turn back so that they can be fixed. If they don't, they'll all burn alive. Which, you know, for Vader, been there, done that.
What?
The shields are functional, Colonel Red. I deactivated them.
As she strongly urges Lord Vader to reconsider and reactivate them, he senses her hand on her blaster and summons it out of her grasp with the Force, telling her to sit in her seat and do what he tells her, just as the Emperor commanded her to do so. As they enter the planet, the ship completely lights on fire, screaming through the skies as the locals wonder what it is. Is it life fire or end fire?
We shall see.
Finally, landing on molten rock, Vader looks at Padme's ship. It's down to the skeleton now and really doesn't look anything like it did before.
Better.
As the colonels come out of the ship gasping for air, they make a joke about how she at least now knows what his aesthetic appeal is, judging by the ship. Now, I'm going to basically say that Vader wanted to destroy the look of Padme's ship, to basically destroy anything that connects him to Anakin Skywalker, as she follows him into the same cave where he first made his lightsaber crystal bleed, which, by the way, was my favorite comic video to this day that I covered. It was full of emotion, so make sure to check that out after this
Damn,
one
almost
if you haven't.
1.5 million?
She asks him questions about the nature of this place, what it means to him, and if he'll be doing any entertaining.
I can only dream
We
of those
again
kind of
cut
views
to the
right now.
continuation of
Hopefully
Sidious
I'll get there one
and
day,
Vader's
guys.
conversation.
My apprentice, but I require an answer. Why, Mustafa? You sent me to Mustafa to bleed my Kyber crystal at the dark side locus present on the planet. When I touched that power, I saw deeper into the Force than ever before. I believe things are possible at the locus that are impossible elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
I understand. You are truly a perfect Sith, Lord Vader. You let nothing go. Perhaps your Padme does await you on Mustafar. Perhaps the dark side will bring her to you. Go, one way or another, you will learn a great deal. After all, your power is my power. I have given you a vessel and a world. Now, I think, one final gift. Come, my apprentice.
Vader tells
Man,
her that he's here
Palpatine's
to
just
study
showering
to
him with
uncover a
gifts.
great mystery. As he meditates in the cave covered in ancient hieroglyphs, Colonel Bren finally brings him a concept design. After hours of working on it, she tells him that she thinks he'll be pleasantly surprised, to which he simply says,
You are wrong.
Surprised and saddened by this, she heads back to Padme's ship where she's stopped in her tracks and screams. Walking to the ship, Vader finds her laying dead. As he sees the other colonel at the desk, he is wearing what looks like Momin's mask, as the eyes are lit up red and alive.
The mask of Lord Momin, a powerful artifact of the dark side.
Lord Moment. I don't know.
Momin was uncommon among Sith. Many of us build our legacy through destruction. Momin preferred to create. He and I have that in common. The uses he found for the Force were truly unique, likely never again replicated. As you also seek unusual paths through the dark side, Lord Vader, I thought you might find Momin's example to be inspirational. Take the mask to Mustafar. Perhaps it will show you the way.
As Vader tells Sidious that he has never
don't know
seen
anything
the name
about
of Momin
Momin.
in any Jedi holocron or Sith holocron, Sidious tells him that the story was suppressed and hidden. When Vader asks,
Then how do you know it, my master? The mask told me.
slicing the colonel down,
The
he
mask
activates and
told me.
illuminates the hologram behind him as Vader steps forth and observes a masterpiece.
Oh, so that's how he got the design of his castle.
We start where we left off, with Vader hovering over the last commander that Momin killed. Perplexed, he assumes the mask has possessed those around it. Raising it with the Force, careful not to touch it, he looks at the image that Momin created, and immediately walks towards the Sith cave, where we first saw him bleed his Kyber crystal.
What are you?
I am Momin, and everything I did was guided by one simple principle.
Vader is immediately transfixed by the beam of red light cast by Lord Momin, allowing him to see the memory Momin commands. He tells Vader of something he came to understand at a very young age, as his mother walks into the room, asking him where the Rasta cat was, mentioning how terrible of an idea it was in the first place to get it. She pauses mid-sentence, as we get horrifying images of a sharp blade, intestines, and what looks like blood and guts to be used on a canvas.
If people feel nothing when encountering something you have created, then you have created nothing. Pain
What
and
the
fear
hell?
are the purest of all emotions, because they are the first we feel at the moment of birth.
As we see Momin walking the streets, every person on his planet in the crowd is horrified and struck with fear and pain, the two emotions the artist wished to elicit from his audience. Locking him up for his psychotic display of his cat's insides, he tells Vader that the name Momin came to
Damn.
mean something to anyone who heard it. Claiming to be a sculptor of the mind, they locked him away for his work. But his name echoed through the galaxy, where a dark side user came to his rescue and freed him. Her name was Shah. She made him his apprentice and taught him everything she knew. Then her apprentice killed her in her sleep. Wrong story. He killed her in their sparring duel.
I would never be so
that's
bold
funny.
as to call myself a master, but an apprentice, I think not.
Killing her right there, he went on to study the lore of the dark side in ways that we've never seen before, visiting its different sites and respecting it as the only true audience he had that would appreciate his vision. If he could build something worthy of the dark side's grandeur, then perhaps he might become worthy in and of himself. So he set out to build a weapon, telling Vader that anyone can make a powerful weapon, but to be worthy of the Force, he had to make something so much more. His device would burn and set aflame cities. However, just before they would reduce them to ash, he would
Pour the Force into the machine and slow time, able to capture all their pain and fear on a scale the galaxy has never known, frozen like insects in sap for anyone to see, forever. An eternal shrine to the dark side, my masterpiece.
until he was ambushed and stopped by Jedi, and like that, in a flash, it was over. As he tells Vader no creation is perfect, but it also isn't a waste, that the dark side is sacred but forever hungry. It burns like a flame.
Inferno, it must be fed. Always it seeks fuel. If you do not feed it, then it will feed on you.
Where the mask possesses Vader
Wait, is he
to the
putting
point
it
where
on?
he actually slips the mask on, only to come to his senses to throw it to the wall.
No.
Walking outside, the natives of Mustafar see him and are thrown into the lava with a force-chucked boulder, by Vader of course. Firing upon him, he defends himself and blocks all blaster fire with his lightsaber, only to reach out and choke his enemy and throw Moment's helmet onto one of the natives. As it feeds and possesses his mind and body, Vader walks back to the cave with Moment as he marvels in being back on Mustafar, now that he has a body, telling Vader it wasn't always like this.
I do not care what it was, Moment. I am concerned with what it is.
And that is
A door.
As Moment tells Vader that it is locked, he tells him that he knows what he wants. He saw inside of him and his desires, telling him that if he wants something from him, all he needs to do is just ask.
You created this design in your last body. Tell me what it is.
The door to the dark side is locked. This is the key. Your beloved waits for you there, Vader. Beyond the door, my fortress will tune the energies of the Locust. It is your first step towards using the power of the
So
dark
that's
side.
why it's designed
to
like
pierce
that.
the veil of time between life and death. You will see her.
I have been lied to about the dark side's ability to prevent death before. Do not offer me things you cannot provide.
I do not lie. I only want another chance to create.
As Vader allows Moment to proceed, he threatens to make him suffer if he can't bring Padme back, where Moment tells him that he can't suffer any more than he already is, that Lord Vader has given him a wondrous opportunity.
I will not throw that away. This will be my masterpiece.
To be continued. Oh, wait, we still got more. Oh, thank God. I was like, hey, don't end it there, man, please.
Okay, so let's get to today's issue. We start a bit after where the last one ended. Vader is on Mustafar and has now ordered many Imperials to come build his castle as he and Moment work on the perfect design that will house the immense power that it takes to open the portal between life, death, and time itself, with the hope being to bring Padme back.
Open the door.
Oh no, it's happening again! Lock down the site and get under cover! As Imperials scramble to safety with the massive storm about to approach, as Vader attempts to break open the portal once again, the natives of the planet look to the sky and horizon as lava begins to erupt ferociously and unsettled around them. As Moment marvels in his design finally being the right one, Vader breaks the doors open, the Force and robotic limbs working in unison. Seeing the other side of the portal before him, he notices something is wrong. Slamming shut, throwing him backwards, the natives rise in unison beyond the castle to devise a plan of action against the Dark Lord that is Vader and what he is doing to their home planet.
Moment. Too many focusing spires. I think they split the castle's energy into mind splinters. Impossible to control. Well, it's a process I learned a great deal from the last 5 designs. I believe the 6th will...
Hey, you feel cold at all? Cold?
Damn.
I wish. This is Mustafar. What? As Moment is killed and put onto another's body, he orders the stormtroopers to clean this mess up and get to work once again. And yes, now the Empire has slowly transitioned to stormtroopers, it seems. As the lava fleas, which are native beasts,
There's no more clones.
show up to kill the Imperial intruders, Moment revels in the fact that even beasts try to stop his beautiful masterpiece, just like he was stopped in his old life as well.
The very beasts themselves conspire to thwart my vision. Fascinating. Utterly fascinating. Here we are, Lord Vader.
While
6th
stormtroopers are
time's a
burning
charm.
around them.
I have confidence that the 7th design will achieve everything you desire, Lord Vader.
Now, see, guys, I personally love this part because it just shows a passage of time, but in a very comical way without trying to be funny. That, to me, is Star Wars. Vader's anger is only swelling, and his impatience only growing at this point, and we, as the audience, all know it. If you take note, the body Moment is possessing is different each time, which means that with each failure, Vader just kills the vessel one more time in some sort of way, and replacing the helmet of Moment onto it. Finally, coming to the 9th and final design, Vader informs Moment.
There will be no 10th.
This new design for the focusing chamber, it just feels right, doesn't it, Lord Vader?
Yes, the power here. This was its destiny. This is what it was waiting for.
As the
So his
Imperials
castle
worry
was
about
the
another
9th
disaster,
design.
they notice things feel much different this time indeed. That things look almost beautiful.
And now, the door. Yes, it calls to me.
Lord Vader, this is an auspicious moment, but you may not be prepared for what lies beyond that door. This test was designed only to determine that it could be opened. For your safety, your very sanity, I urge you to rest, gather your immense powers, and choose the moment it should be opened.
The moment is now.
Lord Vader, this is Captain Jonas, commander of the castle's garrison. I apologize for disturbing you, but we may need to evacuate. They're all around us,
More fleas?
asks Vader, telling the captain that he's busy. As the captain informs Vader of this serious threat coming their way, Vader closes the portal and commands Moment not to do anything or move at all.
Tear it down. Every last brick.
As the Mustafarians ride to battle with Vader and the Imperials, he is faced with a grand army of beasts and angry natives ready to die for their planet. Looking up to the top of his castle, Vader sees the portal being opened with the fire emitting beyond the 2 points.
Moment, you deceitful.
Hello, me. Hello, me. I am my masterpiece.
Oh, damn. So he did all that to come back from the dead?
As the troops wish to retreat, Vader resurrects the courage by leading them to war. Vader slashes and slices through the lava fleas. As the Mustafarians command the blood of Mustafar, which is the lava, they promise that it will save them, but at the cost of washing the planet clean. Doing so, Vader is drowned in the lava river, which is really cool since we know he fears lava and fire. As he uses his powers to create a force shield to protect himself, his suit warns him of imminent danger and overheating. His shield can only last for so long. Using the force to pull what looks like an early designed AT-AT, or some sort of machine, he uses it to propel him out of the lava and onto the riverbank. This is where we get the beautiful imagery of him burning up as Anakin as he once did on the riverbank, clawing his way up the hill, only this time as Vader, standing and ready to destroy them all. See, Vader was powerful, but he was also very smart. Retreating to the castle, the Mustafarians attack it, saying now or never. This was Vader's plan. He lured them in and then activated the powers of the castle to incinerate everyone on the outside with lava and fire. It worked.
Damn.
They were dead. But Lord Moment steps in from the shadows, now in full power and reborn. As he tells Vader that he saved the castle, the Dark Lord reminds him of what he promised the answer would be, to treachery. Moment knows Vader is battle damaged and can hardly do much, but he taunts him the most Vader has ever been taunted before, at least to our knowledge in the comics and movies. And there's one line that is a pretty bad stinger, so check it out.
You believe it still? You think the dark side serves you, obeys your every childish whim. But if the greatest power in the galaxy is actually yours to control, why are you a stub of charred meat in a cape? Even more, if you had that power, wouldn't your wife be alive?
At this point, Moment strikes Vader and hurts him. Already wounded and weak, Vader's movements at this point are limited beyond even his poor cybernetics that Sidious gave him. Now, something that is a bit reminiscent of Snoke's line here, which kind of makes me think, but I don't really know if I want to turn it into a theory or not, is what Moment says next.
Empires have risen and fallen since my birth. Great ages of the galaxy have passed, but here I stand. But if we do not serve, if we fight the will of the
Oh, he
dark
cut off his
side,
arm.
try to control it, then, well, just look at you.
As Moment is about to give Vader the Dooku treatment and separate head from body, Vader stops him for one last question.
I know you opened the door. Did you lie to me about what lies beyond?
I did not. All things are possible through the Force. What you desire awaits you on the other side. But you will never pass through. The dark side would never allow it. You have been poorly taught about the dark side and why we must serve. Your master is either ignorant or hoarding knowledge. It saddens me to see the Sith become such Jedi-obsessed weaklings. It saddens me, and I know it disgusts the dark side. You're You dare! You are not powerful enough to hold me, Vader. The dark side loves me. It wants me to live.
If that is true, Moment, then you will.
As Vader crushes the Lord of Dark Art, get it? Because he likes art
He
from the dark
puts-
side. Anyways, Moment is crushed under the
puts
sheer
Snape's-
power of Vader's
He's right
force
there.
as the Dark Lord activates the tower and opens the door to the bridge between worlds, walking in without hesitation to meet his dead wife once again.
My destiny is
Vader
my own.
enters the door to the next world, or what I like to call the World of Echoes.
All right,
His
this should be the
soul
last
is now
one.
as Anakin Skywalker, immediately sucked from his cybernetic body. I'm kind of assuming then that this place only allows the soul, or the force itself, of an individual. As he walks through, he hears echoes of the past, or rather, shards of the past through time itself. Until he comes across his pregnant mother, where Sidious appears behind her, manipulating her stomach, as he says, unnatural. And someone, or perhaps him again, says, the chosen one. I'll upload a video after this going more into detail about this moment, but what I think is really happening here in essence is that Sidious actually created Anakin, and now it's kind of confirmed in canon. And this was something that was put into the original Revenge of the Sith script, however George cut it out in the final edit. As Anakin, which seems to be fused with the spirit
I
of
didn't know
Vader,
that.
moves on, we see young little Annie having nightmares of Vader chasing him through shadows and walls. Now, by the way, can we all just appreciate for a moment how in this comic, part of his nightmare is actually sand hitting him? As he awakens in the middle of the night to be comforted back to sleep, where it almost seems like he used to visit this world as a child in his dreams, as if he were some astral projector or something. Anakin starts to go through his own growth and evolution in this strange world. And it's cool because we see his highlights: pod racing, C-3PO, Padme, meeting Palpatine, becoming a Padawan and learning from Master Yoda in lightsaber basics, then falling in love with Padme and their marriage. Being with Ahsoka back to back, fighting on the same team, which is really cool since it ties everything in together with the prequels and the Clone Wars nicely. Sadly, it's them
And the
fighting
Rebels.
against one another as Vader and Apprentice. Then it gets to the juicy part, and this is one of my favorites of this whole issue. Anakin comes to the Jedi Temple, where it's in pristine condition, and around him we hear the echo of the truths that we cling to depend on your point of view, making the reader wonder if everything we just saw was reality or just his point of view of things. But if that were the case, then how would it explain little Annie's dream as a child and Palpatine manipulating his mother's womb to create life? All thus while echoing the Chosen One. My favorite part is right here. Anakin comes across all the Jedi Masters, except for one, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anakin ignites two lightsabers, or what look like two lightsabers or swords in this weird world, which just looks like kind of two dark sabers almost.
Oh, I see
made out of
Yaddle in
pure
everyone.
energy.
He
As
cost
he
them
leaps
new.
into the air and lands to fight them, he kills Sazy Tin first, then moves to slice off Mace's hand once again, this time finishing the job once and for all by beheading him. Eventually making his way through the Jedi like butter, saying the infamous line from Episode 8, "Let the past," as he comes to Yoda,
Face your darkness, I
who
will.
leaps into the air at Skywalker, or Vader, and gets a lightsaber through his chest, as Annie finishes the sentence, "Die, kill it, if you have to." Anakin, like a callous machine, marches up those stone steps like he did the night of the 66th Order. He finds Palpatine and Obi-Wan as he hears, "I am your father." The only two people he could think of close enough to call a father. As Obi-Wan and Sidious battle lightning and lightsaber against each other, Sidious eventually
trying to figure out, like,
destroys
who's the
Kenobi,
father,
naturally,
or, like,
as he
to
turns
him,
to
I mean.
Anakin when he is immediately fired upon by red lightning, pure with rage from Anakin and Vader. As he continues through, he finds a woman standing at the balcony's edge, his beloved Padme. He found her, at last. Through all the corruption and blood spilt in his life, he moved through it all and beat it all, to find himself whole as Anakin Skywalker once again. Beckoning for her to come with, she asks, "Are you an angel?" Now, here's where it gets actually really creepy, so you guys have been warned. "Please, we have to go." "Why? I don't know you." "Anakin Skywalker is dead." "No!" Anakin shouts as Padme throws herself backwards off the balcony, turning into a demon of some sorts with yellow-black eyes, as she chokes herself to death, falling and falling below, making Vader relive what he did to her. As she opens her eyes, only to be incinerated into dust by the lightning bolt that strikes from the sky, turning to ash before Anakin's eyes. "No!" he shouts.
That really is
over
creepy.
and over again, destroying the ground that he stands on. Looking down the balcony, he sees a young blonde-haired boy holding a blue lightsaber. He had never seen him before, but when he tried to get the boy away, he was overpowered, being blasted back to his body outside of the portal. Summoning his severed arm and lightsaber back to himself, he ignites it and destroys the portal forever. Lord Vader,
Okay.
at last. As Palpatine tells him that he was becoming very impatient, and he was thinking of finding a new apprentice, Vader informs him that he's
Damn.
ready to return to Coruscant. Good. Tell me, Lord Vader, this truth you learned on Mustafar, was it what you sought? Was it what you needed?
Yes.
And that is the final end of the new Vader comics from 2017. It's been an awesome trip and ride covering these with you guys and explaining them along the way. Check out my full playlist I've made for you. I'll put them all in chronological order for your convenience if you guys wanted to watch them again. Let me know what you guys thought. So now I think Vader sees that there's no bringing Padme back. All he finds is more pain and suffering, cementing his path to becoming the true Dark Lord of the Sith and destroying Anakin Skywalker for good. Or, you know, for as long until Luke shows up and turns him back to the light. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hit like if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next episode of Star Wars Theory, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends. Until then, remember,
The Force will be with you. Always.
All right, there you guys have it. So that was the end of the Vader audio comics, number 15 all the way to 25. It was really great seeing what happened between episodes 3 and 4. The transitioning from Vader hunting down the Jedi and the Inquisitorius, and how he built his castle on Mustafar, why he chose Mustafar and the portal, and I didn't know about Lord Mammon and all that. So this was really great. I have to read the comics again because I know Star Wars Theory kind of like skimmed through and just read a few lines, but I kind of want to read the whole thing, so I'm gonna have to look it up on my own. But either way, this was really great. Shout out to Star Wars Theory for doing an amazing job of narrating and also presenting the comics themselves, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and also make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. And thank you so much for your support, guys. I really do appreciate it. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.